Washington bureau chief at USA Today, Washington Post columnist, American Enterprise Institute senior fellow Marc Thiessen, and Sabrina Singh, former Pentagon deputy press secretary. Marc, we assumed the Supreme Court was going to get active here soon on some of these cases. This seems like the first, and they're saying not only a pause to bring back that one man that they say they deported erroneously, but this is just allowing them to continue their deportation process.
Yeah, this is a big victory for Trump in the new lawfare. So the old lawfare was try to destroy Donald Trump, 91 indictments, 2 impeachments, civil suits to destroy him, and all the rest of it. That all failed. He won the election and came back stronger than ever. And so the new lawfare is to try and stop him from implementing his agenda through a miasma of court cases. And this was a perfect example of it. And the Supreme Court is now allowing him to use this law. So this is a first victory in the fight against the new lawfare.
Susan, we expect that there will be more of these cases that have been stopped in temporary injunctions by federal district judges that will be answered by the Supreme Court in one way or another.
Yeah, this is not the end of this process. These court cases being filed on all sorts of grounds, not just on immigration. Obviously, this is a big victory for President Trump, and it returns him to the issue on which he is most popular, which is his policies on illegal immigration, a diversion from a topic on which he is less popular, which would be the imposition of tariffs, which we've seen have such an effect on the markets today and over the last couple of days.
To that point, let's take a listen to the latest on the Trump tariff back and forth.
We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals. And in certain cases, they're going to be paying substantial tariffs.
How long will we let this man wreak havoc with our global economy, with our national economy?
We have to give the president space. His strategy is playing out. It's been less than a week, so I think he's owed that.
I hope this is a negotiating ploy. We'll see. I don't want to root against the American people or the American public. I hope this works.
Well, the markets today, Sabrina, again, weren't as bad as people predicted, but there is more to come, clearly, with China particularly. If you look at the possibilities here, there was the 20% put on for fentanyl at the beginning, then 34% reciprocal for what the administration said China was doing to the U.S. Then just today, the president put out on Truth Social, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase, then the United States is going to put on 50% more, which means, back to the other graphic, you could be looking at some Chinese goods that are over 100% tariffs by April 9th by noon tomorrow.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is the markets react to these chaotic, erratic policies coming out of the administration. And just to pull it back a little bit, you know, America's strength comes from our economy, our military, and our alliances. And these tariffs are going to fracture those. And so when you don't see a consistent message coming from the White House, when you see, you know, potential changes and tariffs going up, that is going to cause instability. And that's going to cause, you know, other countries that we import goods from, to look to others and find other ways to meet their consumer needs and not rely on the United States, which is ultimately what we don't want to see.
Yeah, and Marc, listen, we've got 7 senators up on Capitol Hill that are pushing back on this tariff policy. We have their pictures here. We erroneously, in Aisha's piece, put them up when she was talking about the big, beautiful bill. And that is, they are trying to get all the Republicans together. Senators have already moved their version of that. The House is now whether they're going to pass this one bill on growth, tax cuts, and deregulation. But these senators are against the tariff policies. And the pushback, what do you hear across the country about, you know, how much leeway this administration is going to have on this issue?
Well, one of the problems he has is he didn't pass the big, beautiful bill yet. If you had cut taxes on tips and overtime and Social Security, and if you had made the Trump tax cuts permanent, the economy might be with a pro-growth agenda, might be in a better shape to take on this tariff experiment. But the other problem they have is that Trump needs to decide what's the goal here. 70 countries are lining up to negotiate. Does he want to negotiate deals, or does he want to collect revenue? We pay $370 billion every year in tariffs to other other countries. Other countries pay us $50 billion. Trump sees that as unfair. So there's two ways to equalize that. We can raise our tariffs up to $370 billion and collect tons of revenue, or we can get them to lower their tariffs to zero and open their markets to our goods. You got to choose. You can't do both. And so he's got to decide what the strategy is.
Yeah, and Susan, I do sense there is a battle inside this administration on that very point. You have Treasury Secretary Bessent saying there are 70 countries maybe that are calling, saying let's do a trade deal. And Japan's already started with their very specific negotiations, he says. The question is whether the president's ready to do that across the board.
Yeah, do you believe Peter Navarro or do you believe Scott Bessent? And because they give totally different answers. And what President Trump said today in the Oval Office, sitting next to Benjamin Netanyahu, was both things. He said you could have permanent tariffs, but also do negotiations. So that leaves us, I think, mystified about what his major goal is with these tariffs and also how he'll proceed. Although I do think the history, while Donald Trump likes tariffs very, very much, it's his favorite word, he sometimes says, I think he also likes negotiating. And so you could certainly see him, when these countries come in and offer pretty appealing deals, him engaging on that.
He also likes President McKinley, who issued a lot of tariffs. Sabrina, I want to play the other news of the day, and that's from the Oval Office on Iran. Take a listen.
We're having direct talks with Iran, and they've started. It'll go on Saturday. We have a very big meeting, and we'll see what can happen. And I think everybody agrees that doing a deal would be preferable.
We're both united in the goal that Iran does not ever get nuclear weapons. If it can be done diplomatically in a full way, the way it was done in Libya, I think that would be a good thing.
And that was the news, Sabrina, that Iran said they didn't want one-on-one talks with the U.S. Now it's happening on Saturday. It seems like President Trump is really trying hard not to either attack nuclear sites or enable Israel to attack the nuclear sites inside Iran.
Yeah, and I think you've seen President Trump say that he doesn't want a larger war breaking out in the Middle East. Whether these negotiations or these talks, whatever they might be, lead to that, hopefully that's the case. You want to see a de-escalation of tensions in the Middle East. We never want to see Iran get its hands or be able to get to a nuclear weapon. But what we also want to see is Iran, tell these proxy groups, the Houthis, Lebanese Hezbollah, Hamas, they need to stop their attacks. They have attacked American troops in the past, American ships in the Red Sea. They need to back those. Iran needs to back those off as well.
We shall see. Panel, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.